The great thinkers in history know that not everything has to be shared. They value the secrets of their accomplishments and lessons because they understand that by revealing too much of their true essence, all those things may be lost to them. Every joy and sadness of every lesson and their challenge is a piece of the story we write, and if we share everything without thinking, maybe we stop living deeply. Because it's like a flower that won't grow. If growth continues to touch, we also need the privacy of our own space where we see our mistakes and triumphs and decide how we want to move forward in the best way. So when we don't share something, not to hide but to protect, true growth comes from a balance between what we show and what we keep only to ourselves. In a world that likes to show everything, it can sometimes be difficult to acknowledge and appreciate what lies behind our achievements. In this video, we will discuss 11 things we recommend. You keep it only to yourself, everything is important. So stay connected till the end of the video to know why. 1. Don't talk about your achievements. For the Stoics, the search for wisdom and virtue resembled this journey in the deep heart. They believe that true satisfaction is not in the display of external victories, but in the introspection and ongoing evolution of each challenge. Every struggle is not carried out in the public arena, but in the silent inner landscape. By talking about their victories, they offer a deep reflection on the ego and pride that, if allowed to grow, can become a barrier between us and true virtue. Their inclination toward external recognition, they say, binds us to chains of pride that entangle us in hollow ventures into short paths. But there is a valuable lesson from the Stoics. True achievement is not one that ceases to be worshipped, but one that stands still, transforms society, cultivates noble values such as justice, mercy, and wisdom. The wealth for those ancient sages was not in the luster of gold, but in the depths of a balanced and calm soul. Instead of celebrating victory or languishing in defeat, they embrace a quiet acceptance of all the will of life. They invite us to acknowledge that the dance of existence is governed by melodies that are often beyond our control. In this great silence, we find a deliberate choice, commitment to true greatness. They believe that true greatness lies in living with integrity, dedicating themselves to their collective, leaving a legacy that humility, sincerity, and the unrelenting search for wisdom are the true pillars of a decent life. 2. Don't talk about unresolved challenges. In Stoic's journey to wisdom and virtue, each step is filled with meaning. Deviations and obstacles are not merely obstacles, but sculpt the soul, shape character, and teach about the true nature of greatness. It is not the visible victory that counts, but the often invisible internal battle that determines one's inner strength. But if the struggles of this struggle are so valuable, why do the Stoics advise against talking about unresolved challenges? The answer lies in their keen perception of human nature. They believe that ego and pride can cloud our vision, makes us blind to true virtue. The relentless pursuit of external recognition and praise can indeed be a veil that hides our true potential. The Stoics did not value achievements that could easily be displayed as trophies. They seek true greatness in actions that exalt humanity, resting on values such as justice, generosity, and wisdom. True wealth for them is not in the luster of gold, but in the light of upright character and calm soul. The philosophy of loving destiny becomes fundamental to this understanding. The Stoics do not despair in the face of adversity. Instead, they balance the sense of victory and defeat with calmness, recognizing that the story of life is woven with threads of circumstances that are often beyond our control. 3. Don't talk about your good deeds. Imagine a candle silently illuminating a dark room. The light is soft, inconspicuous, but it warms and illuminates everything around it. Kindness to the Stoics is like this fire. They believe that true kindness does not need to be announced in a public square or called out from a mountaintop. Doing good sincerely and subtly without expecting praise or reciprocation to be important. But nowadays, our culture tends to prefer to show off. Stoic realizes the danger. If we show too much kindness, we keep good deeds in secret. Give opportunities for honest introspection by not seeking the spotlight. True kindness will manifest in sincere and calm acts of compassion. That is the essence of Stoic philosophy. True kindness comes from a sincere heart without expecting appreciation. 4. Don't talk about your anger. Have you ever felt trapped in a web of emotions where every thread is a bitter memory of resentment that reluctantly fades? The eternal wisdom of the Stoics invites us to reflect deeply on the invisible burden of anger. For these ancient philosophers harbored anger like an anchor that prevented the spirit of sailing freely through the seasons of life. But what if we could choose a less traveled path? Where is forgiveness and understanding our faithful companion? Behind this historical perspective, we find an unwavering focus on virtue and self-control. Ask yourself, have you ever carried a weight on your back for a long time? Do you feel this fatigue, exhaustion, and anger? This burden is an invisible chain that binds us, limiting our freedom and inner peace. It is interesting to realize that anger often arises from ignorance, and it can imprison us in a cycle of bitterness. The Stoics encourage us to look for the origin of the actions of others to understand before we judge. Forgiveness is therefore not just an altruistic act, but a profound act of wisdom that unravels the mysteries of the human soul and frees us from the shackles of negativity. Anger is a poison fire that, if fed, will consume our peace and well-being. On the other hand, by choosing the path of forgiveness and understanding, we find an oasis of peace and tranquility. Thus, guided by Stoic wisdom, we are reminded of a universal truth. Forgiveness is the key to our own freedom. It is a beacon that guides us through emotional storms and offers us refuge in the harbor of peace. By embracing this lesson, we discover that sometimes the greatest strength lies in letting go of breaking free from the bondage of the past and sailing toward the horizon of understanding and peace. 5. Don't talk about your deepest dreams. Imagine for a moment a rare and soft seed in the palm of your hand. It represents your inner dream. How will you protect it from strong winds and storms that could prevent it from germinating? Prestwick, with their wisdom in giving answers, they see our goals and dreams as these precious seeds destined to be planted in the depths of our souls, away from the storms of opinions and criticisms of others. In Stoic philosophy, self-reliance is celebrated as the priceless jewel of true wisdom. True achievement is not something to be displayed, but a well within us that we can always take. It makes no sense to seek ephemeral external approval when we can find wealth and purpose in our own inner space. Perhaps the most silent, yet most spoken of all virtues. The Stoics recognize the subtlety of the line separating healthy ambition from pride. Choosing to be silent about our great cause is not a timid act, but a deliberate choice to walk humbly, avoiding sometimes blind pride. Ultimately, the Stoic legacy speaks to our hearts. There's no need to shout our dreams from the top of the mountain. Protect it, cultivate it, and watch it flourish in quiet silence and glory. This protection is an invitation to rediscover the strength that is within us and acknowledge that sometimes the most precious possessions are those we keep only for ourselves. 6. Don't talk about your next steps. Imagine a chess master who moves in silence like his opponent, trying to interpret his next move. This is the way of the Stoics. They understand that by revealing every step of their lives, they can become objects of a changing wind of external judgment, often filled with envious criticism and even malicious intent. Central to Stoic philosophy lies in the virtue of self-reliance. Why rely on applause? While the true power is within us by keeping our own life strategies, the Stoics not only hide their plans, but reinforce their core confidence. Independent of the current of opinion that flows around them, this leads us to humility, a subtle yet profound quality that the Stoics emphasize. Revealing grand strategy could easily be interpreted as a cry of arrogance, announcement of victory over excellence. By choosing wisdom, they find a balance between ambition and humility, ensuring that their pace remains steady but not arrogant. Thus, the Stoic tradition presents this rich perspective on the value of secrecy, teaching us that protecting our goals is more than a strategy, but a way to strengthen ourselves, respect our independence, and walk humbly in a world where external validation seems to be the currency of the Stoics, inviting us to look within, find our internal compass, and tread our own path with confidence and wisdom. 7. Don't talk about your doubts and uncertainties. Imagine yourself in a vast forest where every tree represents doubt and every shadow is uncertainty. Instead of shouting your doubts out into the world, you choose silent introspection, searching for answers in your own soul. This is the path of the Stoics. At the core of Stoic philosophy, recognized that confidence is not a flag to be flown in front of the world, but an internal beacon that guides our path. Exposing our doubts to the world is like exposing a lighthouse to heavy rain can make it quietly extinguish. We find the robustness necessary not to be swayed by the opinions and judgments of others. Humility, in turn, is not just an external virtue, but a shield that protects the spirit. Therefore, exposing all uncertainties can rob the soul of its dignity. Therefore, always choose when and with whom you will share your vulnerability. While many people are looking for answers in the hustle and bustle of the external world, Understand the importance of silence and introspection. Believe that often the answers to the deepest questions are heard in the silent space of the heart and mind. By harboring some doubts, you can cultivate deeper reflection and a more intimate relationship with your essence. 8. Don't talk about others. Criticizing others is like throwing a stone into a calm lake, creating ripples that disturb the tranquility of the water. Prestwick regarded judgment and criticism as deviations from their own internal mirrors that spent precious energy on issues beyond their sphere of influence. They prefer to give help rather than blame with empathy and compassion. They guide themselves, recognize the inner and outer complexities of each individual. Criticism of others is perceived as disrespecting the richness of the complex human condition. Prestwick realized that critics tended to build walls rather than bridges. In this, they understand that a harsh word and hasty judgment lead not to peace, but to infighting and division. Stoic wisdom sends a clear and enduring message. We must be the guardians of our words and thoughts, instead of focusing on other people's weaknesses. Let us set our sights on our own self-reflection, seeking growth and virtue in a world where Stoic criticism is easy. Encourage us to understand, accept, and do good, and it also teaches the importance of empathy and appreciating its positive effects. 9. Don't talk about your moment of solitude. While many people try to fill every second with stimulation and interaction, Stoics find strength in silence. They do not see solitude as a void to be filled, but as a sanctuary where the mind can dance freely, free from the shackles of other people's opinions, resistance to what many people may think. The Stoics did not avoid their solitude, embracing it. In their moments of brooding moments, they do not feel isolated, but connected to an inner universe rich with insight. It is in this tranquility that the deepest thoughts emerge unpolluted by external noise. In today's landscape, where validation through social media has become a priority for many, Stoic philosophy invites us to reevaluate these priorities by understanding that true happiness is not a function of liking and sharing, but of the depths of our own experience. We begin the journey toward true fulfillment. Rather than the pursuit of instant gratification, Stoicism teaches us to seek pleasure in quiet solitude in an endless quest for souls. 10. Don't talk about loss and pain. No one knows pain and loss like the Stoics. From Seneca to Marcus Aurelius, they suffered a profound loss and tremendous physical suffering, but in uncertainty and fear they find strength. They realize that loss is a natural part of life, that grief is a faithful partner of pleasure in moments of difficulty they do not avoid, but embrace pain with open arms. Recognize that only by feeling deep sadness can we truly appreciate true happiness. For those lost is a wise teacher. It teaches us to appreciate every second we have. By taking care of their own pain, Stoics not only reflect on their own experiences, but set an example for all of us. They show that even in the darkest moments, we can find light. It is a call to find calm in chaos, to find wisdom in sadness. 11. Don't talk about your political views. In a divided political environment, expressing political views can be an infinite source of conflict. In Stoic cultures, it is wise to keep your political views to yourself. This is not a sign of fear or indifference, but a wise indicator that in silence there is power. By keeping our political views in mind, we choose to focus on unifying rather than divisive values. Stoic wisdom teaches us to embrace differences, to speak with wisdom and empathy, not with hatred and anger. It is a call to speak with an open heart and mind, to listen with an open ear and mind. By keeping our political views in mind, we not only protect our relationships, but also the values we believe in. It is a call to find common ground in differences. To build a bridge between us is not a wall separating. Thank you for watching. Your support. It is very important for us to continue to share your knowledge and inspiration with everyone. Please comment on what you think about this video. We appreciate your opinion. I will leave here some content that addresses other related topics. Bye. See you later.